So I started sewing when I was about a junior in college. I went to the University of Delaware, and before that, I had always really been into fashion. But through studying fashion and fashion shows and fashion designers, I really got into fashion design. And I joined one of the fashion groups at the University of Delaware. I asked my sister for a sewing machine for Christmas one year, and I got it and went to Joanne Fabrics with my sketches and my gift card, and that really is kind of how the process started. I wanted to create things for myself that reflected me and my personality that I didn't really see in the stores. So that kind of was the start and the inspiration, and then it just expanded from there to the brand that I have now.
So in college, were you studying fashion or fashion merchandising?
No, I wasn't. I'm actually have my bachelor's. It's in political science with a concentration in global studies. And then I have a triple minor in African studies, Asian studies, and women's studies. So kind of the complete polar opposite. I had taken the LSAT. I was going to go to Drexel Law School. I got into their summer program, but there just something was off and it didn't seem right. But once I started sewing and designing, it just lit this spark, and that's when I knew that that was what I wanted to do for the rest of
So
my
tell
life.
me about Terrance Williams Designs. What is your goal? What would you say that your statement is for your company, and what direction do you see it going? Tell me about what you see for the future.
Terrance Williams Designs is an inclusive fashion and accessory line where everything is ethically produced and sustainably made. So I don't use any animal byproducts like leather, wool, fur, silk, because as we know, animals have to be killed in the process of that. And that doesn't align with my sustainability cause. Also, it's ethically produced. So the fabrics that I use, they are not made in factories where there's slave labor or forced labor. The workers are paid fair wages. There are no sweatshops. Combining those two things, because I was so passionate about them with my political science degree, was really important to move that over into my fashion brand. I also really wanted it to be inclusive. So everything is custom made, or like the headbands are adjustable so they can fit people who are extra, extra small, all the way up to plus size. I really wanted a brand that was unique and personal, and that everyone felt that they could be included, whether it was men, women, the trans community, everyone could just be included in the brand.
Well, that's great. So I'm guessing that I couldn't say who is your typical customer because they span the age range and um, basically anyone that really answers the exclusive or inclusivity about your
Yeah,
customers.
yeah, it's definitely difficult looking at like my market research and trying to find my target demographic, because it's just all over the place, which isn't really typical, but I like that. And that was the purpose and that was the goal of the brand. And moving forward, I really hope we can expand on that. And I really hope, well, it's just me, so I hope I can expand on that.
Well, it's just you
and I,
today.
yeah, just me today. And I really hope that we can kind of be a change in the industry. There are other big fashion brands like Stella McCartney who are kind of paving the way and leading the way, but I hope small brands like myself can affect change with other brands and other small businesses to kind of move in the sustainability and ethically sourced direction.
Well, I hope customers start to feel that way as well, to start looking for brands that are both ethically produced and off the fashion track. So tell me a little bit about your process. You said you started with sketches. Is that still true? Do you create something per season? Kind of tell me about your creative process.
Yes, so I still sketch and I still design. And it does go by season. It also just goes by what inspires me walking through the fabric stores. A lot of the times, just seeing a fabric, I'll just have an idea or I'll have a vision. But a lot of it is pre-planned, and just a lot of research goes into it. So it's not just like I pull things from thin air. Looking into the research of like prints and patterns and what's going to be trending, looking at the fashion shows, doing that kind of research to see what are the big trends going to be in like 2021 for spring. Because although it is kind of an individual and inclusive line, I still want to be on trend with in the fashion world, get still add my little spice to it. So like Harper's Bazaar, I love Vanity Fair, a little bit of Vogue. Again, looking at fashion shows, I love Jean-Baptiste Valli, Marc Jacobs, and just seeing what the trend reports are saying as far as like prints and colors. And then from there, it's when I start to source the fabric. I love Spoonflower, Joanne Fabrics, Mood Fabrics online has a huge section of like eco-friendly fabrics that I really love. And then going from there to kind of develop the collections.
So I'm part of a sewing community that has been traditionally older women. What can we do in the sewing community to be more inclusive and to help young sewers, young sewists, young designers uh, both increase their knowledge of sewing, but how could how can we be more welcoming?
I think kind of just breaking down the stereotypes that exist in the sewing community is a first step. Um, when you look at the sewing community, especially on social media and Instagram, it does seem a little like it's gatekept. So kind of just sending out an open message that, hey, we're inclusive, we're accepting, we are open to different people, different ideas, different concepts. And especially now, just with everything that has been happening and going on, people are really receptive to that. And there are a lot of people who really want to learn. So being a voice in the community that's willing to teach people and willing to help people learn and grow is super important. Um, yeah, and just being nice, just being a nice individual. It doesn't necessarily have to be about sewing. Just being a kind and caring individual goes a long way also.
Great. Well, that's fabulous advice. Okay, we were talking a little bit, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and so everyone is wearing that athleisure, comfortable clothes, and your aesthetic, I think, is very glamorous. How do you see those two coming together? Maybe glamorous athletic wear, I don't know. How do, how do you see the pandemic really changing fashion?
I think for me, it's really important to have a diverse line of things. So one of the reasons that I started the headbands was because of this move towards athleisure and just being comfortable. So again, I didn't necessarily want to target a specific demographic, but looking at the trends and looking at everything that was going on, it just seemed like the perfect idea because you can wear headbands dressed up, you can wear them when you're running, you can wear them when you are
We're
doing your
trying to
makeup.
hide your roots.
Yes, yes. There are just so many options and so many different things. So providing things like that that aren't necessarily like the high end $300 caftan dresses, but you know, wristlets and headbands and things like that that are a lower price point that kind of fit just with like an everyday outfit. And even the dusters, even though they are more on the expensive side, those things can be worn dressed up, dressed down. You can wear them with shorts and a t-shirt. You can wear them with a dress. I really wanted my things to kind of be able to mend in with a bunch of different outfits and different pieces and be able to be worn a bunch of different ways.
So let me ask you about some of your items on your website. One of them I was just very interested in with the ones that are marbled, the fabrics are marbled.
Yeah.
Is that a technique that you did, or was this a fabric that you fell in love with and decided to turn it into bags? Or
Yeah, that's a fabric that I fell in love with on Spoonflower. Again, I just love that site because it's made by artists.
Mhm.
So, and I love that when you purchase, they get commission and they benefit from it. So, I had been looking at marble things for a while, and I had wanted to pull the trigger for a while, and I just decided to do it. And those marble bags, and especially the marble headbands, have been some of my best sellers.
Because
You
it's a little
never
bit
really,
unique, it's something I hadn't really seen before, but I do love it.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Again, it's just, that's one of those things that it wasn't planned. It was just something that I saw and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do headbands and bags in this print. And that's just kind of part of the creative aspect.
Well, great. Well, thank you for taking time today, and we'll include all of your websites and your social media so that we can hopefully add a few more followers to you, and want to direct people to seeing some of your creativity, and I'm sure you'll go far, and I can't wait for you to meet up with us in the future and share some of your inspiration.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the opportunity and giving me a voice on your platform. It means so much, being a small business owner, but just also being part of the Black community. Any chance that we get to, on a bigger platform, to just let people hear our voices, it just means so much. And it, as far as like activism and allyship, it really helps us out a lot. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Oh, you're welcome.